examples or things that you didn't realize, like that women go through? I mean, I think you talked about like how long it took us to get ready, but I think maybe what you're saying is the after part about it, like, you know, why it take that long or why we're doing it, or like just other things about that maybe men may not consider or even know. I'm more of like a non-confrontational type of person, and I just like hated it, and it forced me to grow.
My baby is my greatest blessing, but she's also the biggest change I've ever experienced in my life.
Old lady cleaning the bathroom, and we're just like, oh, we got a maid, you know, like, like you're not my roommate. She was my roommate.
I do need for him to, you know, be able to control his emotions and control himself and not just want to pop off.
I need to know that you got me. If something goes down, I don't need you pushing me towards the danger.
I don't know if it was like a big lizard or a little iguana.
It got me. It ate me. We're done because I'm passed out.
I have another question. So earlier you were talking about how you learned how, like, you know, the different things that women go through and how great we were and all that type of thing. But no, like for real, my question, like, so what are some examples or things that you didn't realize, like that women go through? I mean, I think you talked about like how long it took us to get ready, but I think maybe what you're saying is the after part about it, like, you know, why it take that long or why we're doing it, or like just other things about that maybe men may not consider or even know.
I think, you know, for, you know, just seeing, you know, you take that same thing from, you know, getting ready, just being out there, being in the workplace and being misunderstood, you know, or just being looked over. And it's one thing to, you know, it's one thing to sit there and just be part of, because a lot of times men, we take our privilege, for example. Just being a man has certain privileges. And if you're not paying attention to that, it's easily, you know, you can put yourself in a situation that you're not paying attention to how a woman in the workplace may be being disrespected or may need someone to, even at workplace, to protect them or, you know, defend them. But I think with even little things where, you know, you may hear conversations that may be conversations with friends and family that, you know, a woman may be having. And when you hear those conversations, it's, you realize that she's not only getting pressure to just look her best and be her best every day, but there are others who have different levels of expectations for them that's hitting them from all sides. Mom has a different expectation. Best friend has a different expectation. Boss has a different expectation. I mean, and then all of them could be competing at one time, and that's just in one day. You know, and I guess that's one of the things that I was like, that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot to deal with. I see a lot of the things too, you know, when I do get a chance to look, you know, I'm on social media. I have a social media, but I'm more of the scroller and see what's going on real quick. And you see some of the trending things that, you know, I think about, you know, not to get political, but I think about our vice president. And it's a little things to me. It's like sometimes people who, you know, maybe they don't even pronounce her name correctly, you know, and I think about that and I'm like, that's just, to me, that's a little thing. How could you mispronounce her name? To me, that's just saying it doesn't matter to you. So it's like the value of what a woman brings is not there. And I think for us men, we got to do more listening. We got to do more paying attention, because to be truthful, we're only here because of you. I mean, we're here because of, you know, how we were raised. You know, a lot of the stuff you know, as far as being younger, I remember my first date, you know, my mom told me, you know, and you know, when you're younger, you're kind of like, come on, mom, don't tell me, you know, that this, that, and the third. But the advice she gave me, like little stuff that people take for granted now, but no one was in my ear at that time telling me that, hey, when you take a young lady out, you need to, open the door for her. You need to, little things when you get to the restaurant, make sure you give a good tip, make sure she, get a chance to, all these different things where you're getting coached upward. I got, you learn a lot from, very strong women, and you also learn a lot from those who have to deal with heartbreak. And if you really pay attention to women who have to deal with heartbreak and you understand, okay, their plight, it's a lot to go through. And for you all to be that strong and still be able to persevere, I mean, that's commendable. And I don't say that lightly. I mean, I just really, I'm learning, I'm still learning it. And I just think if more of us men would just really take another extra moment every day, just take a few more seconds to say, we appreciate y'all for what you do. I think we'll be in a better place. It won't be a perfect place, but at least it'll be better.
And I say for me,
go ahead.
I say for me, I just would like, thank you for saying that. And you didn't, at no point did you say women were better than men. And I don't think we think that, but it's just hearing the appreciation means a lot, and it's not about someone being better. It's just about saying, hey, I appreciate you for just being you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, I think in general, it always makes a difference when someone can acknowledge that they see you and that they may not fully understood what it took for you to show up, but they know that your steps were not easy. You know what I'm saying? Like it just in any kind of relationship, in any kind of situation, period, if you're able to step back and really, like, before you jump on someone's situation or judge them, if you could step back and say, you know what, I don't know what it took them to get here, but I'm sure, it probably wasn't easy. So let me just take a moment and either, like you said, acknowledge them or just be easy.
Yeah.
Because females, well, not even females, a lot of people in general, males or females, they don't see a woman until she blow up. It's like all pressure and all of this that you just been packing it, still showing up with a smile, still, trying to not show your hurt. But then when you can't take it anymore and you just get frustrated and go off on somebody, then it's, oh, what's wrong with her? But the whole time, and I've been trying to tell you, you wasn't listening. And it was this girl, I didn't know her, but it was like all across social media. I guess she's from the area, and she suicide. And so of course a lot of people was like, oh, you got to watch your boyfriend and stuff like that, because they said she had been having mental health issues for a while and she had been trying to tell people, but everybody was like, oh, she's so pretty, she had her own business, she was helping so many people having classes. I think she was like a dancer, like just had the perfect life on social media. But then when she committed suicide, her boyfriend, of course, he was just like, I should have listened, I should have tried it. And like, he even had a text message where right before she, jumped, she sent him this long message of explaining to him everything. And you see the little dots where he was about to text back or whatever, but he never sent it. And it was too late. And then he was just like, I should have listened to you more and actually been there. Heard her, but he's feeling guilty now because he feel like he didn't listen to her. And I'm not saying that's going to be the end result of other people, but I think a lot of people don't know the importance of listening when people actually speak.
Yeah, it's tough to do. I mean, I'm saying that at the same time, it is very difficult. It's very tough, and as a man, you have to be in a good space to even have that moment to say, let me sit down for a second. Let me, because the world tells us that, we got to be, strong. We got to use our toxicity as a sign of strength. And And sometimes that's to our detriment, and that's to the detriment of women, you know, especially women that look like us, you know. So I think that it's just a continuing, and I don't think it's a destination. I think that's the key. I think that we gotta keep listening. We gotta, and then when we fail to listen, we gotta learn from the lesson, figure it out, try again, and keep trying. I think that's all we can do. Is just keep trying, try to be better.
And understand too, it's a difference when a female is asking for help, because for one, I know for me, it takes a lot for me to ask for help or tell you something that I need. So when I do and you misinterpret it as I'm nagging or I'm complaining, no, it's just say you don't want to do it. Like that's just what it is. Because I think a lot of people get the two confused.
Right. I had to learn a big lesson, and I think I'm still learning this lesson. A lot of times when Christina is, I think that she's asking for my help, you know, when she's, you know, explaining something and telling me what's going on, she's asking for confirmation. She's not, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times she's asking for confirmation. She already has an idea and a plan of what she wants to do. And there are times when I'm trying to, you know, consider this and going on all these different type of tangents as if I'm trying to figure it out for her. And I got to step back, because when I do that, I realize, you know, no, she can figure this out. I need to support. I need to be supportive. I need to step back and say, hey, what do you need from me? Oh, no, that sounds good. Go for it. We had that same conversation today about something she was working on at work. And, you know, immediately I went into figure it out for you mode, you know, or let me give you a different idea versus, no, what you have is fine. Let me, you know, that's a great idea. Well, how do you think, you know, the people that's involved that you're doing it for is going to respond to it? You know, just kind of asking questions to be supportive versus trying to say, oh, you know, trying to do the man thing. I call it the, you know, just step in and say, oh, let me help you figure it out, you know.
Yeah. So I have a question. So Shanita put me out earlier, so I'm gonna put her out now. So if someone is looking to get married, Shanita, would it be okay for her to speak to a guy first instead of waiting for him to speak to her?
Shade.
All right.
I say yes, because I'll tell you honestly, and you know, I don't know, I can only speak for some of the guys that I know, including myself. There's some guys who we're clueless. You know, a lot of times we need someone to kind of kick in and say, you know, initiate, because that gives us the go ahead to know, okay, this is someone who's interested. Not that we can't lead or anything, but sometimes we need that extra clue. We need that kind of hit me over the head clue that it's okay to proceed.
Well, all that is if I look at you and I head real quick, that's enough. Because for me, if I'm not interested and I can see you look like you about to say, hey, I'm gonna turn around. Eye contact. So if I'm making eye contact or you to see me looking at you at least twice, then yeah, I might be kind of interested. Because I'm sure, you know how people be at a red light, like you looking straight. That's how I'm gonna be if I think somebody is interested and I'm not really interested in them.
So I have a question to support that. Have you, since the last conversation that we had about this, when we were talking to Deontay and he was like, just try speaking, have you initiated just a simple hello with anybody? Yeah,
no. Because it's been the guy, I think I told y'all about the guy in the elevator at my job.
No.
Okay, so with him, I was taught, like, he spoke first. He did speak first. But once I saw that he was waiting for me on the stairs, I was like, oh, I like your socks. It was just plain purple socks. It wasn't nothing cute about it, but I tried. So, you know, I'm thinking this guy's interested. He kept making it at the same time I did. So I was like, okay, we just so happened to bump into each other in the elevator. Well, one day I'm like, okay, I ain't seen him in a minute. And I end up staying at work later because I even went as far as to say, yeah, you know, this is my schedule or whatever. So if because one day he saw me, he said, oh, I haven't seen you in a while. I was like, yeah, I said, you know, I come to work at this time and I normally leave at this time, hinting. So if he wanted to accidentally bump into me again, he could. And so I see him a while. So I'm like, okay, well, you know, oh well. But then one day I stayed a little late at work out of my unusual schedule. And here he come carrying somebody boxes to his car. Well, not to his car, to her car. And then he went past me like he didn't even see me. I was just like, I know you see like the Madea little clip. Don't he see me? I see like I know you see me. And so it's been weird ever since. So I see him. And like I used to call him by name because he always makes sure he calls me by my name when he speaks. Like even if he come in the elevator and it's like a group of people, he gonna speak to everybody like, hey, how y'all doing? And then he's gonna give me an extra hey, like, hey Shanita, how you doing? Like, so I'm thinking we clicking, but it's been weird ever since. I did see him once and he tried to talk to me, but again, he was with a group of females and he kind of slowed down to talk to me because it was raining. So he slowed down, but they kind of slowed down. So I'm like, something ain't right about that. So I just went on past them because you could tell, you know when people are actually having a real conversation and when I'm just pretending like I'm talking to you just to hear what they saying. That's how they was doing. They was trying to see what he was saying to me. So I just went around them. So to answer your question, no.
Okay, so Tony, based on what you heard, do you have anything to add to Shanita's story, maybe advice or like tip or just anything in general?
I would just say, I mean, I think you need to, I mean, that's a good approach. I mean, if it works, it works. And it may work for some guys. For others, and then obviously, I think one thing I picked up on, you said at one point you saw him with other young ladies, females. That means that he has options, so you gotta understand whether or not he acts on those options or not. He may just like the company of being friendly around, females, and it's just platonic in nature. But even that has value for a man, because sometimes for a man, if he's not made a decision, or he's already made a decision, he's decided whether or not this is someone of different levels of interest. This may be someone I could be a friend with. This is someone I may have an opportunity to make, for things to go further. Or this may be someone, a platonic friend, and we can just be good pals and maybe hang out and have a good time. He may have already made that decision, and that could be sometimes that may be a delay if your approach is just to look and to speak. He needs something else to say, oh, she's interested. Because again, remember, male ego is confidence. And so his varying degree, forget the veneer of him appearing to look confident, internally, he may not be. And so, you got to look at that as well to say, my approach needs to be, I ain't saying go all, hey, let me get the number and all that. I ain't saying that. But you may have to look at, especially, here's the key, Shanita. The key is this someone you're interested in? Like, you really want to consider seeing what this could become? I think you need to act on it. Don't wait on the man, because again, we're focused. Here's a key to tell you. So, difference between, when we go in the grocery store, we have an objective. That's why we go in and say, I need to get some t-shirts, some underwear, some deodorant, and some toothpaste. And that's what we're going to get. Now, we're going to pass by a whole lot of other aisles that may have things on there that may be attractive to us, cookies, you know, video games, TV, whatever. But our objective is to go get that deodorant, the toothpaste, and the t-shirt. So sometimes you may have to be that person in apparel to say, excuse me, sir, how can I help you? You know, it can help you find anything. That's aggressive hospitality in the retail world. Sometimes you gotta be a little bit aggressive, you know, initiate, use a different approach, but it's still, you're still going after what you want. Because you may not catch the clue.
Like for him, okay, what I'm hearing that you're saying is, I guess he needed the confirmation, and maybe him not knowing me did not realize this is a lot that you're getting from me. And maybe for him, it's like the bare minimum, not knowing that I don't really even talk about nobody's socks at all. So I guess for me, I feel like this. He knew my schedule. At this point, he knew what type of car I drive. So he could have even put a note on the car. You know that I'm always late and that I always make it within that extra 10 minutes where you can still clock in on time. And then, because he was always late, that's how we would meet each other. And so then you knew what floor I worked on. I know what floor he worked on. You knew my name. So at this point, it was ways that he could find me if he wanted to. And I feel like he didn't want to, because you never even, we've met several times. So in that time frame before we just kind of stopped seeing each other, you never asked for my number. You never asked for anything, and you had the opportunities.
So I there's a couple things. One, I don't like that he ignored you when he was taking those boxes out to the car. But in the same token, even though he was with those other women, he did make it a point to speak with you, to like give them some space and speak with you. And it almost seemed like you were put off because the other women were just there and you didn't appreciate their presence, which really had nothing to do with him. You know, his department may be 80% women. You don't know. Or maybe you do. But like, I don't know. It's almost like you were kind of annoyed with him for something that they did.
No, okay. So, yes, I was annoyed with him. But
or put off.
The lady situation was, okay, so they were on the elevator. It's 3 elevators. I was coming off one. They end up coming off one. So they were all clocking out, and I was too. So it was 3 ladies all together. He let them go first. They all clocked out. I'm standing behind him. He know I'm standing behind him. He didn't ask me if I wanted to clock out. He clocked out, and so he started walking with them. So I purposely did, went slow so I can give them time to go ahead. But he kind of started slowing down. So they were walking ahead, but when they realized he slowed down and was talking to me, that's when they slowed down. And then I could tell the conversation was fake and they trying to hear what I'm saying, because it's like you started walking even slower. And
their conversation was fake. But again, that has nothing to do with him.
Right, it has nothing to do with him, but I was annoyed with him, not for that situation, because you'd have had so many times to talk to me and you didn't. So at this point, I'm not even interested.
You have expectations of him that you may not even realize they may not be realistic based on his train of thought. You know what I mean?
I know, but like he looks old. I don't know how old he is. He looks old. So I'm like, at this point, you too old to be playing kids games. Like if you was interested in me, you would have went on and made a move by now. That's what I feel. But like y'all that didn't know.
I don't know. To me, it's like, well, one thing is, to me, it's kind of like what Tony just said. Like if the guy, what he has like a one-track mind, he may not be thinking about, let me put a note on her card. Like that's just not going to come up in his mind. Also, I feel like,
because some people might see that as creepy if you aren't interested.
Yeah, they feel like he's a stalker. Like, why you know all this?
I'm gonna report to him and take this note to HR.
And to meet you, this is so and so, because he made sure I knew his name. So I mean, I personally want to have, but yeah.
Also, I feel like it almost feel like you're comparing him getting your phone number to marriage almost. Cause it's like if he really wanted to, and I also feel like
Do that.
yeah, well, no, you didn't do your hand like
Oh.
that, but that's the energy that it was given. Like, I think you need to find out if you actually like him. Like, you may not even like his personality. It's like, don't rush it. You can see him every day. Figure out if you actually want him to have your phone number first.
Well, not now because
Right.
yeah, he missed that window. Like you, honestly, he would have to do a lot because okay, the truth is, I was on the border when I first met him. I just wasn't. He wasn't my type. But then one day I saw him without his mask, and I was like, okay, he's not that bad looking. And so it's like, you know, you was already on the fence of whether I was interested physically. So then you add all this other stuff with it. I ain't got time.
Well, why don't you just be his friend and don't think about anything else? Just
do that. But then when he started acting funny to me, I took it as he was feeling guilty because he knew I saw him. And at this point, it was with the boxes, it was one lady. So I felt like I didn't know if they had something going on or what. And then after that, you know, I really didn't see him until the last time with the group.
yeah. But actually, now that I think about it, if it was a female that was acting funny with me, like someone like a complete someone just I would never be interested in, not just a guy, but like we were friends, I think I would be like, oh, she acting funny. So maybe it's not just him being a guy. So if a
Close the
female
refrigerator.
if a female did that too, I probably would stop doing the same thing. So I guess you do have a point. So if a person does that, not just the person you're interested in, but a person.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, I'm confused. But yeah. But I don't know. And then to me, it's just at this point, I feel like if he's the person that I'm supposed to be with, then like Tony said, when he first saw me, you was interested enough to talk to me then. So to me, I guess I was trying to figure out what happened because it seemed like we just kept bumping into each other in the beginning. And then all of a sudden you just disappeared until one day I see you carrying boxes like you SpongeBob. And I'm just like, what's going on? So I don't know. But that would be my mission. We should do a challenge. Okay, so each one of us has to come up with something for somebody else to do. And we have to video it.
Huh? What do you mean? Like something like what?
I'm not saying we can't use this, but take a picture with a stranger or something. Or you wouldn't do it? I know Chris
Maybe. I would, probably.
Just random things. Like mine would be saying hello to a guy.
Nope, it sure wouldn't. It'll be a lot more than that. It would probably be asking him out on a date is what I would say.
That's okay. We don't have to do
I
that.
cannot play. That's what I was just about to say. I don't think so. I'm probably not gonna play this game. Count me out because Crystal will take it to the max.
Because I think that's the thing. I don't think that's bad. I don't think that's extreme. I think it may be out your comfort zone, but I don't think it's extreme.
No, because if I ask him out, he's gonna think I'm gonna pay. And I'm not.
Well, I guess we also
is whoever acts is the one that's supposed to pay.
So then maybe it's not a date. Like maybe you don't ask him like to a restaurant or to something. Maybe like a coffee. You can pay for a coffee.
Park.
I mean, but maybe I would invite him to coffee knowing he don't like coffee, and then I could just buy my own coffee. And we just have a conversation. I can get him a water.
Park.
It's so quiet.
I mean, because I understand where you're coming from. I understand why you wouldn't want to. Like, it's the whole setup type of thing, and looking.
You probably don't want to start off that way.
Yeah.
so many females that do that. And it's like the guy is not really interested in you. They're just interested in your money. And as soon as you stop, or as soon as the person that they want to be with come along, he leaves. And I'm like, you didn't spend all this money on this guy and he never was interested in you. Now, don't get me wrong, I do pay for dates and stuff, but after a while.
Tony, what do you think about that?